In this video, we're going to talk about the Space Marine Beginner's Guide. This is going to be helpful for anyone looking to start a new Space Marine army.
If you're starting a brand new Space Marine army, chances are the very first thing you've bought yourself is a Command Edition of the Warhammer 40,000 game. This is the basic box set that most people get. Now, this is going to come with a squad of Assault Intercessors, which is give you a squad of troops, essentially. You're going to have some Outriders, and you're going to have a Primaris Captain. But based on that, the question is, what do you buy next? How do we really build this army up? Now, if you want to know strategically some of the best things to do, you may want to follow our 4 pillars of army design guide, which breaks down how to design an army. And you can find a link to that in the description of this video. But as to what to buy next to build out that army, I want to share you what I would do if my only Space Marine force consisted of what I got in that Command Edition of the box. One of the easiest ways to expand out what you currently get in the box is to start thinking about diversity. Now, when you play Warhammer 40,000, you're going to be building detachments. And the detachment you get in the box is a patrol detachment, which is okay, but doesn't give you that much diversity. You want to move towards having a battalion detachment. Now, a battalion detachment would consist of 3 troops and 2 HQ choices. You currently have 1 HQ choice, which is your Space Marine Captain, and 1 troops choice, which is your Assault Intercessors. If I was designing your army, the thing that I would suggest you add are 2 more squads of Assault Intercessors, or you can even get the regular Primaris Intercessors if you wanted a little bit more long-range firepower. Either wouldn't matter. The good news is 1 box of 10 Intercessors will give you 2 squads of 5. So you only have to buy a single Intercessor box, and that will give you all 3 troops choices. For your second character, I would recommend a Primaris Librarian, or if you can get your hands on one, a Phobos Librarian. A Librarian is going to give you some psychic power ability. You can deny the witch to stop your opponent from casting powers or cast your own powers. The Phobos Librarian is going to let you set up in the middle of the battlefield. And what's cool about your army is because you've already got a squad of Outriders, which are your bikes that move fast up the battlefield, you've got some pretty good forward momentum against your opponent. I would recommend a second squad of Outriders so you could flank either side of the battlefield or pull a maneuver where you go on a hard left or hard right flank with both Outriders. And if you had the Phobos Librarian who sets up in the middle of the battlefield, he would be able to add some support to them because he's set up further up down the battlefield. In addition, I would improve the army by adding a pair of Warsuits. Warsuits allow you to set up in the middle of the battlefield. They're a very aggressive force, and when your Outriders move up down the battlefield, the Warsuits will already be there down the battlefield to give them that support. This way, you can use your Intercessors to control the objectives in your deployment zone and fight in the middle of the battlefield against your opponent with their close combat capabilities. The Warsuits and Outriders will put some severe pressure on your opponent's forces, and then the Outriders will move up, while your Captain will allow you to reroll 1s with your Intercessors to defend the middle of the zone and to help out there, and of course the Librarian will help with psychic powers. So essentially your initial force would be in a battalion that would consist of 3 squads of Intercessors, probably Assault Intercessors, a Captain, a Librarian, 2 squads of Outriders, and 2 Warsuits. The only thing missing for this would be long-range firepower, and so any additional points that you wanted to use to build out that army, I would use Gladiator tanks. These tanks have a ton of firepower, they're not very high in terms of points cost, and it will give you that much-needed artillery that you need to help punch through your army. And this is how I would start off by building a very basic Space Marine army for a beginner that will give you something that's effective and still very easy to build without buying lots and lots of miniatures. Now, if you want to learn more about some Space Marine tactics and maybe some advanced army design tips, then you may want to look in the description of this video where you'll see a click to a link to go to our 4 pillars of army design guide where we break down some advanced tactics to building Warhammer 40,000 armies.